Welcome to Quack&Co, the board game channel where every video is 10 minutes or less guaranteed, and today I just have one very simple question for you. What is your favorite Lacerda game? I just got in these 6 beasts of titles from Eagle Gryphon Games, and I'm really excited to dive in and dive back into some of them that I played early on in my board gaming history and career. I'm going to be honest, I don't love all of them, but I am incredibly compelled, and more compelled than not, to replay every single one and bring some coverage here to the channel. But I do want to know, how many of these 6 or more have you played? Which ones stand out to you as the best of the bunch, your favorites, the grail game that you just haven't got your hands on yet? I'm really excited. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about where I am with them, first impressions, my thoughts, because soon we're going to be opening them up and diving in. So, Escape Plan was the very first Lacerda game I ever played. Got it in, did an unboxing on Quackalope back in the day, early on. It was actually a friend's copy that we received. I then learned how to play the game, got it tabled, and it was such a weird hybrid of this Euro mechanic, this Euro game with a theme of like bank robbers figuring their way out of the city. I was compelled by it, but I didn't love it. But I also think that maybe I didn't fully get it back in the day. Like maybe it was a little bit too heavy or too complicated, or I needed more time tabling and exploring it. So I'm excited to dive back in. Moving over, as I carefully set this game down, the Gallerist is one that I actually have not played before. I've heard amazing things, and I've heard that it is a game that is kind of confusing. With the degree of actions that you take, and then combined with the complexity that it has, it seems like it should be simple and straightforward to play, and then you get into it, and the grittiness, the depth of the gameplay strategy is supposed to be really nice. I'm really excited about this one, and this paired with Vinhos were actually the two that have been on my list for the longest time to get to the table. Let's talk about Vinhos now. This has one of the most interesting gameplay stories of my career. I had a friend teach it to us, and he completely left off the fact that you start with vineyards. You see, in Vinhos, you're going to be trying to craft and create wine and send that wine to auction and to trade and to sell. All of these are Euro-style games, and each one has this different theme and puzzle, and all of them have these core mathematical, mechanical puzzles or knobs that you're trying to twist and turn. Vinhos is really, really cool. It's very nice. We've played it multiple times now. I want to check it out at 2-player to see how it functions with just Shira and I. I'm not convinced that I love it yet, but I'm also not convinced that it's ever leaving my collection. And Shira is absolutely adoring it so far, so we're going to give it a few more plays. Moving over to probably what is my favorite so far. Out of the Lacerda games that I've played, I need more time with Weather Machine. I'm compelled by it, but honestly, it was a bit too heavy and complicated for me, and that's saying something considering On Mars is right now my go-to. On Mars is this incredible game that balances the decision-making space of being actually on the ground, exploring and terraforming the planet, and then being up in space, gathering resources, deposits, sending things back down. It has this shuttle action where you have to time your moves back and forth, and I really like it so far. I have not played solo, and I just got the Aliens expansion in. Those two combinations are going to make this a pretty powerful conversation for me. Moving over to possibly my least favorite so far, which is Kanban EV. I don't love how cruel the programming and timing is in this game, but it makes sense for a manufacturing game, for a game that's featuring this automotive line. Here you're going to be taking programmed worker placement actions, and then they're going to execute in a hierarchy. And if you don't get things done on time, you're going to have consequences, because you have a chief, a staff, I forget her name, but a production leader or manager walking down the hallway, making sure that you're doing what you need to do or what they expect you to do. Kanban is, and I'm going to sneeze, I got that tickle. You know, that ambient, you need to sneeze, but it's awkward because you're at the doctor's and, you can't prove you're sick. Kanban EV, really, really interested in replaying it. Shira has not played it yet. I think the timing might just be a little too tight on this one for me. I like freeform kind of messy games, or at least games that I feel like give me permission to explore. So that one's a conversation. And Lisboa. Lisboa, I actually have not played either. I've played Mercado de Lisboa, which takes one core mechanic of Lisboa off, and that building out this town square, building out this environment where you're adding tiles and you're building stalls. That element is separated. However, I have not played the original Lisboa yet. I'm really excited about this one. Again, I've heard amazing things, but I've heard amazing things about the entire Vitel Lacerda line. I mean, it's why we play it. Eagle Griffin puts out some absolutely outstanding titles, and this lineup is sort of a core collection. Like, I'm going to be honest, if 4 of these games stay, all 6 are staying, and that's already just a reality. I love how they display on my shelf. I love how they play on the table. And I could see myself, when I'm not doing full-time content creation, I suppose, or even when I am doing full-time content creation, getting every one of these to the table at least one time a year. Just because if you have a game group that likes these heavier Euro puzzles and you learn Vitel Lacerda games, you're kind of able to approach all of them a little bit easier, a little bit more adjacent. Like some of the design elements, some of the principles, some of the ways that you follow sequencing and mechanics, they make sense as you bridge from game to game, and they do escalate. They do get more complicated. They do get harder as you go. And that's just sort of, I think, the nature of the design. But they're a masterclass in incredible Euros, in tight thinky mechanics, in weird theme integrations to games that normally don't have that kind of skin overlay. I mean, Weather Machine would be a good example. Like, it's a fantasy world, more or less, of these scientists just twisting and turning the knobs to the weather and having consequences because of that. It reminds me of, like, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs style stuff. And Vitel Lacerda is one of those designers that I am always, just period, paying attention to what they're putting out. It doesn't mean everything's going to be perfect for me or right for me, but there's always something there that's heavily worth engaging with. And so yeah, that was the video for today. I just want to know, first off, which ones have you played? Which ones are you excited or hoping to play? And so far, out of those 6 that I have, and let me know if I'm like completely just missing one, but let me know out of those 6, or outside of those 6, how you rank them. What's your favorite, top to bottom? What do you want to see covered first here on the channel? We'll get it popped and opened up and punched and organized and learned, and then we'll let you know what we think. Thanks for being here. Remember, less time watching means more time playing. This is Quack&Co. We'll see you next time.